Hey everyone, it's Joy here. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys so very much for stopping by and watching. Today I created an elegant shaker card using the Gina K Designs stamp set from STAMPtember 2023. So I bought this when it came out and now I've made a card with it, and I really love how this turned out, and I hope that you guys love it as much as I do. So here is that stamp set. I think Gina K always makes beautiful snowflakes. I try to get all of her snowflake stamps, and I think it's so pretty. I did buy the stamp set with the coordinating die. So I'm going to start with some red cardstock. We're going to do a lot of heat embossing. We're also going to use an embossing folder. We're going to have a lot of texture on this card, a lot of elements, but it's going to be very color coordinated, if that makes sense. So I am going to stamp that big snowflake and the hanger because it's like an ornament. I will prep my cardstock with my anti-static powder tool. This is from Tailored Expressions and I absolutely love it. I'm inking up with clear embossing ink. I'm using VersaMark ink and I'm going to press that down. I like to do it 2 or 3 times, usually twice is good enough, to make sure I get a really good impression. I'm going to be using gold embossing powder for all of my snowflakes, but then I am going to bring in some white embossing powder for the sentiments. So I do have my heat tool on. I like to turn my heat tool on when I'm starting to emboss so it can be nice and hot. But look at how beautiful that gold is against this red cardstock. This cardstock is Wild Cherry from Cardstock Warehouse. Now I'm going to stamp all of the small snowflakes. I did not end up using all of them, but I did put them back in my with my stamp set so I could maybe use them later for a card. But look at how pretty. I love that they're all different sizes. They're all different types of snowflakes. I think it's really beautiful. More red cardstock, prepping it again with my powder tool. I don't want any of the embossing powder to stick to the cardstock. I just want it to stick to the ink. Sprinkle on my gold embossing powder. I'm using Lawn Fawn's gold embossing powder, and I will also use their white embossing powder. I also like to use Simon Says Stamp and Ranger ink. I like all of them. So these are the ones I just grabbed out of my drawer today. Now I want to stamp my sentiments. I want the classic that just says Merry Christmas. These have coordinating dies with them, which I think is fantastic. I need to have another piece of red cardstock. These are all just A2 sized, but for these I'm going to use white embossing powder. I wanted something that was going to be a contrast to the gold, and I thought white would just be gorgeous because of course the red and white for Christmas is always beautiful. Prepping my cardstock again, inking it up. I like to do that twice, like I said, and then I can sprinkle on the white embossing powder. And then again, my heat gun is on to make sure that it's nice and hot and it melts quickly and easily without warping the paper too much. I'm taking a dry rag after the embossing powder is dry and gently buffing off all of the powder that we used. Now, this is a 3D embossing folder from Spellbinders. This is, I have it listed. I don't know the name of it. I just have the product number, but I will have that listed below for you guys. I ran that through my Platinum 6 die cut machine, and look at that detail on the back. I think it's so stunning. Now, let's die cut all of our images. I'm just going to tape them in place. And like I said at the beginning, we are making an elegant shaker card because this card is just elegant, and I'll show you how I'm going to turn that big snowflake into a shaker element. It's really super simple. You just need to have like a circle die, like the nesting, when you get the nesting dies, like they're nesting circles or squares or hearts or whatever, you need a nesting circle die. I have die cut all of that out. I'm also going to die cut another piece from red cardstock using that big die for the big snowflake because I need a back piece for my shaker element. So this is going to be the solid red back piece. Now let's take that big snowflake piece here. I have a die cut. I cannot even think right now, you guys. I'm so sorry. I have a circle die. This is from the Stamp Market. This is just their nested circles. I picked one out. This one fit perfectly. I have die cut out that center. Now we have the front to our shaker and we have the back to our shaker. I'm taking another one of those circle dies that's slightly bigger than the one that I die cut. I'm going to test it on the back and cut out a piece of acetate from scrapbook.com. And this will be our acetate piece to hold in all of our shaker bits. So I can flip over that front piece, add some adhesive, and then place down that circle piece of acetate. Of course, I want it bigger than that center hole so it has area to adhere. So I'm going to push that down in place. Then I'm taking my strips. I'm going to fold these. These are my adhesive strips. I'm folding 2 of them together to give me a double edge. These are from scrapbook.com. And then you have to peel back that top release paper. That way you can mold this into a circle. I'm making sure my 2 edges meet so my shaker bits do not fall out. And then I'm going to use Trinity Stamps Vanilla Sugar Snowflakes. So I'm bringing in more white. You know, we did white with the sentiment. Now I'm going to bring in more white with these snowflakes. I do want this to have a lot of pieces in it. I don't want it so full that it can't shake, but I want a lot. When it's resting, I don't want them to all sit at the bottom. And these are kind of chunkier pieces. And so when it's just sitting there, it's pretty full. Then of course I'm going to adhere my back piece on, and I can't ever adhere anything straight the first time. I usually can't adhere it straight the second time either, so I think it took me 3 times just to get this adhered down properly, and I don't know why I'm always on the struggle bus, but I am. Okay, so now we have our background piece that was embossed with the 3D embossing folder. I have my pieces laid out and I'm going to start adhering them. I only want to adhere these snowflakes directly to the background. I don't want them popped up, because my shaker piece is going to be popped up. So I want these other snowflakes in the background. And as you can see, some of them I'm just letting hang off the edge, including this big one. I do have it offset just a little bit, and I'm going to trim all of the excess. I am going to add a little bit of foam tape behind the shaker here, or the shaker, my gosh, the hanging piece to the ornament that is the shaker is what I meant to say. So I'm just trimming down some of those adhesive strips from scrapbook.com and putting them in place. I did adhere that top one up a little too high, so I do have to move that down. But now it looks like we have this beautiful hanging ornament that is a really fun shaker. And I love that pop of white, which we're going to add a little bit more of that. This card turned out better than what I had imagined. Most of the time when I'm imagining things, my card doesn't always turn out as good as I was hoping it would be, even if it turns out really good. But this card turned out way better. I'm going to have my sentiment up at the top to bring that white up towards there. I'm going to add some foam tape behind these. The sentiments will have some dimension, but look at how beautiful this looks. I love the, oh, what is it? I can't even think of the word. It's not detail, but I'm going to use the word detail from the embossing folder with all the snowflakes in the background. Like, it's just full of snowflakes, but visually it's not overwhelming, which I really, really like. Now I decided to add more of the white, which I'm so glad I did because it looks so, so pretty against the red. So I'm going to bring more of those vanilla sugar snowflakes from Trinity Stamps out onto the card itself. I've got some large ones and some small ones. I like to lay them out first, and then once I get a good layout, then I can adhere them down. I'm going to use my Barely Art liquid glue and just put those in place. And this will adhere to a white A2 size card base. But look at how beautiful. I love the shaker part. Look at that background from the embossing folder, and then of course all of the beautiful snowflakes from Gina K Designs. This is called the Shimmering Season stamp set from the STAMPtember 2023. Thank you guys so very much for stopping by and watching. I hope that you enjoyed this project. Thank you again for all of your support for me and my family through this hard time, and I'll be back soon with another video. Have a wonderful day. Bye.